Welcome back to One Fair Review, everyone. I'm your host, Grant Wascavage here. Today we're going to be looking at a very special spotlight episode today, or review today, of an anime film released just last year back in 2018. My Hero Academia, Two Heroes, the movie. Of course, the continuation of the series of the same name, sort of more of a prequel to the third season, that is, not the series as a whole. Anyways, so My Hero Academia. I actually planned to review this movie back in the day, back in October in 2018. I was actually scheduled to review it, but then personal life got in the way, and then I kind of had to miss the last showing of it, which was unfortunate because I got a ticket for the last day it was showing in theaters, and I didn't have time to go watch it, which was very tragic, as most of you would know. Anyways, let's get back to My Hero Academia, Two Heroes, the movie. Anyways, getting to the story, it is as follows. Deku and All Might receive an invitation to the iExpo, the world's leading exhibition of quirk abilities and hero item innovations. Amid the excitement, sponsors and pros all over, Deku meets Melissa, a girl who's quirkless just like he once was. Suddenly, iExpo's top-of-the-line security system gets hacked by villains and the sinister plan is set in motion. It's a serious threat to the hero society, and one man holds the key to it all, the symbol of peace, All Might. The starring cast of today is Yamashita Daiki as Midoriya Izuku, Miyake Kenta as All Might, Shinda Mirai as Shield Melissa, Kimura Raui as Shield David, Koyama Rikia as Wolfram, or Wolfram? Wolfram? Well, I don't really know his name. Excuse me. Anyways, now the cast of My Hero Academia is so large I can't name all of them. So I only named the characters and the actors that I believed were integral to the story, which were the 5 that I just mentioned. Okay, so getting to the movie, let's start off with what we always start off with: the story. Two Heroes feels like an episode out of My Hero Academia. It really does. The beginning and the middle especially feel like it's just an episodic series between the episodes, or an arc series in between the seasons of My Hero Academia. For the most part, it didn't go over the top. It didn't go bombastic. This is a big budget movie style, like maybe some other movies that are a continuation of a series do. So I really appreciated that, although the ending does go into the movie vein, but I will talk about that later. So far, the story was very intriguing. It does follow off of an episode, which was a prequel episode to the third season that happened before the summer camp at the beginning of Season 3, where All Might gets an invitation to the iExpo, and then he takes Izuku with him, or Midoriya, or Deku. I'm just going to call him Deku. It'll be easier for everybody to know who he is. Everybody knows Deku. And then while he goes there, of course, he meets up with Melissa Shield, who is, of course, the daughter of David Shield. Now, in the beginning of the movie, it does start off with a little bit of a before he was famous type deal with All Might. It shows what he did before then, what him and David were. And then it goes into the movie. Then it just kind of recaps a little bit of what the series is about, which usually I get annoyed by that in a movie, but I was completely fine with it here. It is a movie, and it does a good job of making it to where you can watch this movie without watching the show because of that recap, because it kind of does tell you everything you need to know, but unfortunately you do lose that whole character development that took 3 seasons leading up to this particular movie. That being said, none of the other classmates that is in Deku's class or that All Might teaches, they don't really play that big of a role. Some of them don't play any role except a very brief cameo in maybe an apartment trying to watch TV, and that's literally it. The main cast, it does have, the usual suspects. It does have Todoroki, it does have Bakugo, it does have Ida, it does Uraraka, it has Yamomo, it has all the most popular characters from the My Hero Academia series. But for the most part, again, they're just kind of there to remind you that they're still there, and they don't play a huge role within the story. They are there, and they do help out. Definitely they do help out. But again, the story mainly focuses on the 4 main characters, in my opinion, which is All Might, Deku, and Melissa. Melissa especially, and Deku. Both of them are the main characters, and I really did find them to be strong characters. Now, of course, Deku is already an established character, so already we like him. His personality does continue into this performance as well. Melissa, of course, we've never seen her. She's a completely new character in this series, in the show series at least, and I liked her quite a bit. I thought it was actually very amazing how I actually ended up liking her. She ended up becoming one of my favorite characters within My Hero Academia with one movie. That doesn't mean that she replaces any of the other characters that I already like in My Hero Academia. I love all of the characters, but she really did work her way up, and she did become one of my favorite characters in the show. Mainly, I think a big part of it is because she is quirkless, and she is kind of like Deku, trying to work hard to become what she wants to be. In this case, she can't be a hero, she's okay with that, but instead she wants to help the heroes by becoming a scientist like her father, David Shield, who was also quirkless. So I did like that dynamic as the movie went along. An absolute fantastic theme going on is the passing of the torch. How in the beginning you see All Might and you see David Shield, how they're working together in their prime, becoming what they were. And then in this movie, David Shield is very afraid that the symbol of peace will be leaving, who is All Might, and his work, he won't be able to continue his work later on. So he's trying desperately to keep All Might to be the symbol of peace. But as he goes along, he slowly realizes that he sees themselves in Deku and Melissa, and I really did like that aspect of the movie. It was very appropriate, and it was kind of touching at a point. It was very well done, very great story. Like I said, the story, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid story. I thought they did a great job, and I really liked how it did feel like it was just kind of an episodic arc in the series. That being said, it would have been bad if it just kind of stayed with that same feeling. If it did not, it's obviously a movie, so I do expect some things to happen, or I do expect a different approach, a little bit more epicness, if you will. So I did want the movie to go epic, of course, because it is a movie, and it is a movie of My Hero Academia. You want to see that epic nature in it, and it does, thankfully. It doesn't just stay still for a majority of the time. That being said, let's talk a little bit more about the characters. For all the characters who do return from the class, it was really enjoyable to see them. They're all very likable, all very funny and engaging, except for one who I'm not going to name because I hate him, but that's my own personal bias. But I do love all the characters, and they never stop putting a smile on my face. Bakugo especially, I felt like he was a little bit different than how his show counterpart is currently. There was a little bit of a change in him, a good one, but it's kind of awkward. And I mean, where it's placed in the series, this is a prequel to season 3, so it did feel a little bit weird, but I didn't mind it. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. Other than that, all the characters were great. Even if a lot of them were just brief cameos, or a lot of them were just kind of there for the reason. One of my favorite reasons was just Todoroki shows up and they're like, "Oh, you're here too?" And he's like, "Yes, I came here because my father was invited, but he didn't come." And it's like, "Oh, you too then?" And it's like, it happens to a bunch of other characters. It's like, "Oh, we got invited too," or "Oh, we got invited too." There was one very weird scene. It was funny, it was very clever, but it was just kind of weird how it's like Deku and Melissa, they just meet all these characters. It's like, oh, there's another one. They're all invited to the expo, I guess. And it was really, really fun and enjoyable, although it was very convenient that they all met at that exact time. Moving on from the story, the show, let's go into the presentation of the movie and how it differs from the show and how it is the same from the show. For the most part, the animation is very similar to the series as a whole. Towards the end, it gets a little bit different, very different in fact, and it becomes very, very stunningly gorgeous in the third act. Very, very epic, very awesome. Whereas the beginning and the middle felt very grounded in the series, it just felt like an episodic thing. No real difference in animation, except for a few instances where you saw how fluid the animation was. But for the most part, no real difference until the very end, where it gets really epic and there's this great scene. And they really go all out in it. But for the most part, the animation is the same. And I do love the animation of My Hero Academia. It's very colorful, very vibrant, very just black, lines separate the colors. It's got a lot of sharp edges, which is great. A lot of the characters are very, very energetic, very bright. And I really do like that aspect of My Hero Academia. It's one of my favorite aspects of it and why I love the show so much. Now, the animation is really good. How's the music? The music is exactly the same as the show. I heard the exact same tracks that I recognize from the show with very little to no deviation. I do like the soundtrack of the show. I think the music is good, but I would have liked to hear some new ones. There are some new music to listen to in the credits, which, by the way, there are some images in the credits that do kind of continue the story to some extent, which I do recommend you guys watching. However, for the most part, the music in the show is really no different from how the movie, it's no different from how it is in the show. It's pretty much the same. So to wrap it all up in a neat bow, how is My Hero Academia 2 Heroes? It's a great movie. I really enjoyed watching this movie. I haven't watched My Hero Academia since last year, since the season 3 ended, and I've been really excited for season 4. I can't wait for that to come out. I can't wait to start watching it. I don't know if it's already come out. Imagine if it did. I just didn't know. But, I really wanted to watch this movie in theaters, and I didn't get a chance to, unfortunately, so I had to wait all this time to finally watch it. And it just kind of reminded me of what I loved about My Hero Academia, and that's just how heroic it is, how energetic and positive, but at the same time how serious and realistic it can be. And this is one thing that I really love about My Hero Academia, and I've mentioned this a few times of how All Might has replaced Superman as my favorite superhero, and that's because All Might is what I'd want Superman now to be. He's an updated version of Superman in the modern day, and I really love that aspect of the character. Whereas, say the Marvel movies are just kind of like meh, and I don't care. And then the DC movies are just, they could either be I hate them or they're meh, I don't care. And whereas they portray Superman as a mopey, very depressed, reluctant, not really heroic in any way, not really fun, All Might's a very fun, energetic character, and always willing to help, and is helping people out of the goodness of his heart, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to be a symbol of peace. That's his dream, and he wants to keep it up for as long as he can. And I really love that about All Might. I love how energetic he is. I love how they portray him in the series as a whole.
All Might, goodness!
なんでここにさっきまで取材陣に囲まれて
抜けるくらいわけないさ。なぜなら私はオールマイト。私が普通にドアから来た。
オールマイト
誰それ。
オールマイト
Repeat after me. 人違いでした。
人違いでした
And that's also why I really love all the characters. All of them have their heroic moments. And My Hero Academia and this movie in particular, they just give me chills. They give me chills, and I do want that more often in a superhero movie.
目の前にあるピンチを
全力で乗り越える
デトロイト。
I guess I have to go to Japan now for that, because that's what they do. Although Shazam was pretty good. I did not review it, but it was pretty good. Getting back on topic, My Hero Academia 2 Heroes was a solid watch. I don't regret watching it. If I had to give it a score out of 10, I'd have to give it my highest score of 10 out of 10. Now, I know what a lot of people are going to say. Is this a perfect movie? No, of course not. I'm not saying it is. But I have no problems with it. I enjoyed it all the way through. I really, really enjoyed it. It felt great. The only problem I would have had, now this is a what if scenario, is towards the end of the middle section of the movie, I was kind of getting like the feeling like, okay, the stakes are really not that high, and this is really kind of just the stakes aren't high enough. Or I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, this is a problem, this is an issue, but nothing really grand for a movie. So I was kind of like, yeah, towards the middle of the end. I still loved it, but I was kind of getting that feeling. But then the third act happened, and it just went skyrocketed. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is great. This is what a movie is like, and I really enjoyed it for that. Other than that, I really don't have anything to complain about, other than maybe after the scene where David Shield and All Might kind of do their heroic stuff. After that, then you see 5 minutes of footage we've already seen before, and just Deku explaining the last 3 seasons. Other than that crap, which really didn't bug me that much, I didn't have a problem with this movie. I do recommend for My Hero Academia fans to watch this, and heck, you know what? Even if you're not a My Hero Academia fan, I do suggest you watch this too. I recommend it. It's a great movie, full of heroic stuff, very energetic, also dark at times, and very serious. It can get very serious, but it does keep that energy and keeps the consistent tone. So I really recommend this movie. I say check it out. Thank you guys, as always, for watching my review of My Hero Academia, Two Heroes, the movie. Did you guys watch it already? Have you watched it? Do you love it, hate it, despise it? Do you never want to watch it? Are you not interested? Do you not care? Let me know down in the comments down below. I really want to hear your guys' thoughts. I always read them. I always enjoy what you guys have to say, even if a lot of the time some people disagree with me. I completely get it. I disagree with myself sometimes. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. Next time, you'll see more anime crap and a ton of other stuff. This is Grant for One Fair Review. As always, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.